right. It looks like we are back for another one, but oh my God, nobody knew this. But guys, it's Mike, and I'm here again on another Monday live. Not just one of those special Mondays where, like last week, I was at a brewery doing this, but this week I'm joined by two guests that we're going to talk about in a minute. But before we get to them, I have Jim here from Vinyl, and as if you aren't paying attention already, we made a beer, right? I think now it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, right? Give or take. No, I don't even know when it was. Maybe 4 weeks ago. I don't know. Everything blurs. But we did make a beer, and it's being released for your sour week.
Yep, that's right. And we're going to do a special release for it, right?
It looks like we are, guys. But maybe the two other guests that are here with us can tell us what the beer is called. I think you guys already saw the name, but if you didn't, I'm going to flash it on the screen real quick so everyone can see it. And now you're all
real
back.
quick.
Real quick. I'm going to put it in the ticker there, but I think we know, I think you guys probably have seen it. Maybe, oh wait, there's a way I can do this. Hang on, I got this. I haven't used this software this way in a while. Let's see if I could figure this out. Maybe not, but that's okay. Figure it out later.
All right.
I can do flippy things like that. I know how to do that.
Oh, there we go.
But the the beer, Dan, do you remember what it was called?
Yes, I've got my body and my mind on the same page.
Yeah.
Did I get it right?
You did
I'm
get
the
it
drummer.
right.
I didn't actually write those lyrics. Someone else in this panel did.
Yeah. I think Davey, I think we decided to name a beer after some inspirational stuff that's been going on in our lives for the last 20 or so years. But
yeah, super flattered.
Yeah. Well, you guys were super flattering to I didn't know Jim back then, but I know him now. And we were talking about music one day, maybe 8 years ago, and it turned into a conversation that I was kind of telling Dan beforehand about, how music and beer and like things like that and like just everything kind of comes together. And like when I started building New Jersey craft beer, give or take 10 years ago, I realized that like a lot of the people that I would see in the music scene, I saw in the beer scene later down the line in different ways and things like that. A lot of that stuff spilled over, and it was interesting how that happened. But yeah, so we decided to make a beer named and inspired by Happiness Is All the Rage. So, and it's purple, right?
It is purple.
The beer is purple?
The beer is going to be purple.
Nice.
So yeah, we did.
It's amazing.
That's we're from Wisconsin, so we don't see that kind of thing.
No,
not often.
Right.
No, there's the trend for the sour beers and things like that coming out, or what sort of like was behind this and the inspiration. I think Jim and I were going back and forth about different ideas on the beer, and for those that are interested in the ingredients in the beer, it's a Paloma inspired sour. If you don't know what a Paloma is, it's basically grapefruit, lime, tequila, and seltzer. So this is a sour beer, funky kind of fruity, tart version of that without tequila, basically.
And so the best way to serve it is into something in a clear glass to emphasize the purpleness of it.
Yes.
I assume.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
This is all starting to sound like a Premise Ring record review. Sour.
For those listening through Pitchfork or any of those other sites that used to or still exist, or Brooklyn Vegan or any of those others, this is not a review, but hopefully you'll enjoy the beer when we come get it. And the fun part is, so Vinyl is currently open Wednesday through Sunday.
Yeah.
But NJCB members there's going to be reservations on Monday, next Monday, a week from today, from the, I think starting at 5 o'clock, there'll be reservations available on Vinyl's website.
Yes.
For you guys to come and get early entry into trying this beer. I will be there along with I think a couple other people from my team, as well as I don't know. Hopefully you all were there, but you know, we'll get to that in a little bit. Yeah, so that's basically the idea there. But the other idea is that Jim is making a ton of other beers that week that are all being released for the Sour Week. So this is the kickoff to not only Sour Week, but it's the kickoff to a whole bunch of other sours that he does have coming down the line. Of course, I want you all to try all of them. But Jim, maybe what you can tell everyone out there what else you have on the deck.
Yeah, so we have a couple fun beers lined up. For those familiar with our Glitch in the Matrix sour, it's blueberry, blackberry, and raspberry. I'm gonna have a special one-off of that beer with marshmallow and vanilla beans, and then we're doing a blue raspberry snow cone syrup with pineapple and orange sour. What else do I have? I have matcha powder, green tea with black tea leaves. And we have blueberry and acai with mosaic dry. So we have a lot of fun and interesting things, but I'm excited to kick the week off with the Promise Ring inspired beer. For sure.
You were talking about beers, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Not like some sort of like artisan fruit salad.
Yeah.
No, it was like okay, cool.
All sour beers.
Again, we're from Wisconsin,
Right?
I mean, they do have lager. He does make lagers, IPAs too.
No, I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Yeah, no, that's the cool part about the beer experience, right? So the interesting part about like having a small brewery is being able to small batch on things and give things a try. You know, at the same time, it's also pretty cool to be able to experience what other like states and other breweries and other areas are doing, and it's pretty cool to be able to have like the influence coming back around. You know,
Right.
you know it's. You know, it'd be cool if like someone decided out in Wisconsin to make a Jersey inspired beer named after a Lifetime reference, you know, or something like that. Or, you know, like it's fun kind of stuff like that. In fact, you know, there are definitely some, like I was mentioning earlier and off air, there's a lot of breweries here in Jersey that have a lot of music inspired beers already, and like I mentioned earlier, not off air, there's so many music and beer connections. Do you guys see that out in? I mean, I know you Davey, you say you don't drink as much as you used to, but do you guys see that kind of stuff like out by you guys?
Well, probably Dan will have the same answer to this that I would, but I drink as often, just not as much. Probably actually in the last like 18 months, probably more than I used to. But
Oh yeah, well, I think we're all in that boat.
Yeah, right. But I don't think I can. I just can't. I mean, maybe I just can't drink as much as I used to. Like physically, not able to. Maybe this will be a breakthrough for me. It's hard to say, but I don't. I mean, and I just don't feel like I'm out there enough. You know, like I'm an accountant. I work in this exact seat. You know, so this is out there for me. So I don't know some of that sort of like social stuff. I wouldn't be able to speak to. Dan, I don't know. I
mean, there's certainly the wave of creativity for breweries and microbrews and stuff is like, it's just growing exponentially. And I'm sure there is something in Milwaukee that is doing something like that. Just, do I necessarily know about it? No. But I mean, there are like breweries popping up all over the place, doing small batch runs of all sorts of stuff. Not as fruity probably as
Yeah.
the blueberry acai or whatever, but I'm sure there's like stuff going on. But yeah, it's I mean, it's a cool scene, and the collaborations that happen
Yep.
is like is pretty amazing to see, you know, because it is kind of like it's just a new way of like trading zines back in the day in the like basement shows, and you know, like it's, but now it's like beer, you know, there's other things to be creative about and have expression with, and it's, you know,
Right.
it's cool that beer culture is sort of like blossomed into that, you know.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that what I took a lot of that inspiration from back in the day doing when I started NJCB. And then I've seen that exact same approach from other small, medium, and large breweries that are like the grassroots DIY approach to it. And being able to, like, you know, do that in that way where, you know, there are for sure like there are different ways of doing things, you know, like the culture and the different people that are like popping from show to show / brewery to brewery. Like you see them doing that, like making like, oh, there's a matinee at this place and there was like a late show at this place, but well, now there's, you know, like one venue in the whole state. But at the same time, there's also 130 breweries and there's 3 different places within 20 minutes of each other. So in our small state, you know.
Yeah. Is that an actual number, 130?
Give or take, yeah. Yeah, and then like we have strange laws in New Jersey, so that doesn't include brew pubs. Like I think in Wisconsin, I don't know if you are able to drink and eat like as a restaurant at every, you know, drink beer made on prem, but like in New Jersey, you can't have food made at the same place as a production brewery, but you can at a brew pub. So we have another 20 that are brew pubs.
We have a hard time processing that. Like Wisconsin is sort of like, you know, the beer culture, and maybe it's not like smart beer culture, but like, you know, that core value of like beer in one, you know, beer in one hand, my camera brat in the other, you know, you just have your 2 like folded hands arched differently.
Yeah.
That it's
that
like,
one point probably was the Wisconsin flag.
Right. That's exactly it.
I mean,
it's so
I've been to a Wisconsin wedding. There's definitely I've been to a friend of mine who lives here. He's from Wisconsin, and he that's what his wedding was. Just us drinking beer and holding curds and brats. It was it was fun. But yeah, it's interesting in to your point, like, yeah, we have not that ability here. Like we can't eat at breweries. In fact, we're trying to fix that, but nobody, the breweries don't want even to be a restaurant, but there's other things at play there that are out of like the brewery's control. It's like antiquated laws in New Jersey, but yes, it's about 150 breweries, brew pubs, and like, you know, there's some breweries that contract other places that are involved in that number. So there's like a lot of interesting I have the whole list, you know, to 150, give or take.
I mean, yeah, that's a lot. Again, the point is that that's a lot. Whereas, you know, other things, you know, have normally become less and less. It seems like that's blowing up and it's becoming more and more.
Oh, without a doubt.
Is it? Do you feel there's an oversaturation yet? Is it to that point, or do you feel like
no?
I mean, as long as like Jim, like if you keep doing small batch, limited, cool things, it seems like that could be a perpetual avenue for creativity in that way. Like
it gets people into the tap room, you know, because pretty much everything we do is limited. But you know, we're at the point where we have to grow a little bit now. So I can still do some one-off things here and there, like what we're doing hour week, but you know, we're gonna have to eventually get a little bit bigger.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, most of the breweries are still able to do their core brand and sell it enough to the core brands, plural, to be able to sell that enough. Like, you know, their IPA, their West Coast IPA, their hazy, their lager, their Pilsner, that kind of stuff. their porters, etc., and then able to do creativity. Like a lot of the breweries here in New Jersey are, and I think everywhere really, are just being able to experiment, especially during the COVID pandemic, stay at home, all that kind of stuff, where they can kind of dial into their trade and perfect their recipes. A lot of them have been doing that so well that like they know now how to like, be able to kind of just go at it, and they know what's going to work. And now that tasting rooms are opening up more and more, and it's getting nicer outside, so people can go out. Because they allowed us in New Jersey, they allowed the breweries to be able to have off, like non-licensed premises, to be able to drink outside to extend their premises. So like there's certain streets like Asbury Park, where you guys played in 2002.
2000-ish.
Yeah, give or take. There's a main street that used to be a shithole of a main street away from the boardwalk, that they closed the entire street down for all the bars and restaurants to be able to have outside consumption of food and drink for the pandemic. So, I mean, I went out there and sat in the middle of the street that used to be a main street with 30 restaurants. It's closed down for for both sides traffic, one way, everything just closed down.
Do you think that's like a proof of concept for a bigger idea, or do you think or would they just keep that like that moving forward, even as things ease up with the pandemic, or do you feel
they kept it until November 2022?
Oh, that's what they're keeping it that way. Oh, okay. Huh.
So it's licensed till November 2022. That doesn't mean that every town is going to say okay to that. But state said okay. There's a very big movement to keep people safe in the state, and very interesting approach to it. And with the amount of restaurants and liquor stores and liquor licenses we have in restaurants, you can't buy liquor at or beer and wine or liquor at every single restaurant, but with the amount we do, there's so many places that were hurting and closing that they had to figure out a way to let people go outside and whatnot. So like they can set up a portable, untented or tented thing in the middle of the street, or on a parking, in front of Jim's brewery. It was unlicensed. He can tell you a little bit about it, but I think, and before you get to that, everyone, you can sit outside on Monday too.
Yes, you can. No, it was nice to be given the outdoors. That certainly helped us a lot. I would like to see us, not just us, but everywhere, be able to keep it permanently. Maybe I like driving around town and being able to see so many people out in the town. It has more of a lively feel, So.
Yeah, I think the proof of concept is that it works, right? People are outside, people are doing their thing.
I'm just kind of more curious and kind of just fascinated about life in general after the pandemic, and what's changes, like, work, like Davey, like, I'm not sure if you're just going to, I'm probably going to most likely stay working at home, like, because it's just like, like, I think that's, for on that side, like the people working from home, mainly offices are becoming less important, travel cars, like, is that becoming less important, even on a higher scale? And is that a concept now where like there's streets that can be just mainly, are there going to be more and more pedestrian focused streets with more with ride sharing and with like, whatever, the scooters or whatever else, bikes, that, that sort of thing, like is better public transportation. Like, is that going to be, is our streets going to be more like closed, more, our cities can be like that, shrinking, more focused, kind of. Drinking because they're happy, and they're going to be like,
no, I mean,
no, but like in general, like
localization, it's like, it's an interesting thing, like that type of thing. Like your neighborhood bar becomes like the social center, because like you can actually like meet in the street, a little bit more. It does change like that whole.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. I had to go to the same best friend that I was just mentioning before. He got married on his rooftop with a in Midtown Manhattan, and it was 14 people at the wedding because you can't have overcapacity even in an outdoor setting in his own apartment building. And through his own apartment building, you had to wear your masks. You go outside and everyone was masked and everyone was distant from each other. But now they had certain little one-ways that were closed in certain areas, but they also had some of those one-ways, some of those small Manhattan streets, or I've seen it. I haven't been to Philly in a while, but I've seen it on pictures where they take a part of like the street where like you would have like a car or two would be in a parking space, and they would just block that off and make a little parklet in there. There's another brewery in Hamilton where Vinyl is that did that to one of their spots. And I think
I've seen that more and more, like restaurants taking the street back in a way.
Yep.
By more and more places in Milwaukee as well are starting to do that, where they're having taking up parking spots to put it more seating and whatnot.
Yeah, it's huge.
So, yeah,
it's good.
I'm just curious to see like what's going to happen and how things are going to change.
I mean, I feel like it's going to stay for a while. I love being able to go out and not actually have to be in a crowded, like tight space next to another family of whatever. So I can go with the kids and hang out and have dinner, have drinks, have whatever. And I'm outside in a grass fielded area or a covered tented area, or just in the sun, I was visiting somewhere recently, and they're like, help yourself to wherever you want to sit. If you need a chair, take the chair, but leave the table. I'm like, okay. They're like, because we have the tables positioned 6 feet apart from each other. If you need the chair and no one's sitting there, okay. But when you get up from your chair, make sure you put your mask on. Oh, I'm like, wow, cool. Like, they're like, if you move our tables, we're going to be mad. I'm like, okay, I love your concept. It works, right? But it was cool. It was cool, and it was beautiful, and it was nice, and because you can have X amount of people sitting together, but that kind of thing. But they are getting more lax with the different rules and regulations here, which is awesome. I'm hoping that it also leads to more the music venues opening back up and things like that. There's a major like theater nearby in Red Bank that had this renovation and indoor massive space for all these concerts. They shifted it to an outdoor area nearby. So they moved their entire license over there, their entire everything. And now it's an outdoor concert summer venue that was not there before. So it's like pretty cool concert concept. And I think like there's bigger bands playing and like cover bands playing, but also like outdoor plays are happening there, which is pretty cool to have like arts and culture shifting towards something that wasn't inside in their place that they were before.
Right. Cool. Awesome.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. And we had we're pretty excited that you guys were able to join on here, and even more excited that that the beer is purple, because I'm staring at it and it looks beautiful. This is not the beer, everyone, but this is what the beer is going to look like when you come drink it next week.
But yeah, like you got your own little private, small batch.
I made a version of it without the actual hops and malt. It's just tea and grapefruit and water and
got it.
But yeah,
that's more for the sober bars.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So that's good. It's gonna be the sober bar version of that.
I don't drink on Mondays typically, so I have to pretend.
Got it.
I try not to, at least. But yeah, if you guys want to do any promo, where to find your stuff, or stay in touch on social, go for it. And then
Twitter, maybe. We're on Facebook. I don't know. Instagram at Promise Ring, maybe.
We have an Instagram. We're on IG.
IG. We're on IG.
I did just read.
Good for us.
You did have some press recently on Brooklyn Vegan. I think I just read something there. a line about like top whatever songs from whatever year they were talking about. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's like, it's, you know, like, it's great, you know, that people are still find it relevant. What we've done 20 odd years ago, still relevant in some way today, you know. So anytime there's press, you know, saying anything about anything with this, or beers being named after lyrics, is like,
Yeah,
that's pretty great. Like, that feels great. And so thank you for thinking of that lyric for this beer. You know, that's great. You know, so it's like, it's good to see that it's still sort of in some way relevant as, you know, as time moves on. As he strokes his gray beard.
Yeah.
I think we're all there though.
I can't even hear it. I don't know.
Still.
Yeah. It's funny.
Yeah. And
I think I totally appreciate the irony of having your body and your mind on the same page and it being the name of a beer, because obviously beer is one of the few things that separates the mind from the body. So touche on the deep metaphors and puns from me. I'm tipping my hat. I'm the only one not wearing one, but well played, sir.
Yeah, well, it took a while. We had a lot of iterations of names, but I think this one is perfect. And I can't wait to try it, and I can't wait to get you guys to try it. For those still tuning in, like I said, find us. Find out when you can make it on Monday by going to Jim's website. Jim, give him your site and tell him how to get reservations. And
it's Vinyl Brewing NJ.com. You can go right into our website. We have a reservation system on there. You make your reservations for whatever time you want, between 5 and 9 o'clock, and that's it.
Cool.
And we'll see y'all there.
Awesome.
We'll be there in spirit.
In spirit.
Maybe we'll play a loop over and over. All right, guys, tune in next week.
That sounds terrible.